Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we'll be reviewing an Australian film called The Subjects, which was released in 2015.
That's correct. It's on system as unrated. Probably fall under the genre sci-fi thriller.
Sounds about right.
Or at least sci-fi anyway. Australian film, as Sarah said. Now, this appears to be an independent. Produced by Robert Mond, Joseph Gatti, and Dean Murphy. There was a total number of 15 producers, associate producers, and the like, and executive producers, but they're the main ones just under the heading producers. So there are lots of other people involved with the production. Now, directed by Robert Mond, written by Robert Mond, and I think he did the editing. I think he did some sort of sound work as well, and something else. So he was really a hands-on guy.
Yes,
so
meaning it, as I said before, it's an independent film, which usually doesn't have a very big, large crew or team members. Sometimes they do. Sometimes if you have them,
but it's a real hands-on approach. He wrote it, he directed it, he produced it. He knew what he wanted. So and it was a reasonably tight budget. So I don't know what the budget was. I would say that when I mentioned tight budget, it wouldn't have been huge, but I think he maximised the effect of what he had. How's that?
And this movie, this story takes place in a small room, which doesn't mean have to have anything to do with outside stuff.
But there was a movie we did.
We did the exam
a year ago,
last year.
Yeah, the exam. And that was similar to the people locked in a room. They had to answer a questionnaire, but everyone missed the point, I think, except for maybe one person in the room. And, it was like a process of elimination. And it was a rather an interesting movie in itself as well.
Was there any... In your research, did they find out how long the filming days they worked on this?
No, I couldn't find anything.
Oh.
It doesn't. I found a bit of IMDb stuff, but and a review. That's about all. So
shame. I
couldn't
imagine
find enough
such
about
a film like this might have been either done in a few days work of filming.
Oh, I don't know, a few days. Could have been a couple of weeks worth. I don't know.
Could have been a couple of weeks worth or a month worth.
Then you get the post edit stuff and everything else, the special effects. What there were had to be put in there and everything and whatever. And
seeing as this production is like an hour long.
Yeah, it wasn't an overly long, but I think I'd rather watch a short movie that works than a movie that's been padded out which doesn't work. So
It was not a bad one. It had good padding.
Anyway, the people in the room. I've limited the cast to the people in the room because mainly it was focused in the room.
It's mainly focused on them all the time we watch this.
Now, okay, here we go. There's 8 people. Tosh Greenslade plays Phil. Which one's Phil?
Phil gets killed off at the end, and he's the least person you don't notice in the production.
Yeah. Sorry,
he sort of becomes extinguished from the plot.
Yeah. Oh, he's a guy dropping in and out, was it?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I always, I kind of wrote my selection in, what the most likely of who we can cameras trained on throughout the production.
The people?
So go on, Mike.
Yeah, like I said, Tosh Greenslade played Phil, the guy who kept disappearing, and no one knew who he was. Paul Henry played Corey. Well, they named him Corey because he didn't say what his name was.
No.
The chilled out weird little guy who has an interesting part to play later on in the film, which I'm not going to mention. Catherine Innes plays Nikki, girl next door type.
Yeah, and on the bat, we watched it last night, and I recognised, and I thought her accent sounded very Australian-ish. I think the others were pretty much putting on accents here and there, just to make sure that they look different.
It's an Australian, bit of an Australian accent. We thought, she's got an Australian accent, and later on we found an Australian.
I tried to look her up, but she has not very much information behind her.
She wasn't bad though. Anyway, Frank McGree, plays Giggles, a nasty, arrogant guy with a bit of a Pommy accent and everything, and he played a really, really good role as an ex-crim, I suppose he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, an ex-crim is
anyway, Spencer McLaren plays Devon, a business-type guy whose focus is on the money. So he must have been broke. Charlotte Nicodeau plays Lily, a shy Asian, I'd call her a time-space jumper. Well, that's a skill she develops in the show. But she plays piano.
She plays beautifully.
She did a song at the end of the show when the credits were going through. And she sounded cute, and cute little voice, and the song was good. I think she wrote the song.
Yeah.
She's playing piano to it probably. Yeah, she's a really talented girl.
She plays a lot more better than Giggles.
Yeah, she was interesting. And actually, I won't say what she was doing in the movie or how she ended up, but she's one of the lucky ones. A bit like a final girl, hey?
I could definitely say that.
There's a guy called Paul O'Brien plays John. He's a magician, and he's sort of like the last man standing, but we don't know what happens to him.
Yeah, we're left wondering.
Yeah, we're left hanging. And a lady called Emily Wheaton.
I think I've seen her face before.
She plays Jenna, a really, really weird, out there, airheaded party goer type girl, and she is so interesting and funny in her own little way. So it's really interesting. So
yeah.
I mean, all the characters are pretty good. Sort of believable, I suppose.
Yeah, well...
Not totally overdone. I mean, Giggles was a little bit over the top, but he's Max Krim.
Well, the whole point of this is to have different stereotypes to watch throughout.
Yes, different stereotypes. That's probably a good way to put it. Yeah.
Different forms of life. Like, you have the divorcee, broke husband, and you have the little coolest girl in the group. And you have, you have the smart school student type, like Lily, I guess.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Geeky one, I think.
She was a shy little Asian girl, but she was probably very smart, very talented, but kept a low profile. She wasn't a party animal or anything else.
That pops in and out, which is not really
Phil.
important, obviously, because as we watch this movie, we somehow gloss over him like a bad haircut.
Look, basically what the story is about is these people go into a room and they're as a controlled experiment, they all take pills and they don't know what the pills are going to do. And Sarah's going to tell you the story. But basically they actually enhance powers that you have or give you powers, a bit like superhuman powers. And Phil was one of the first ones affected. And he kept popping in and out because he kept turning invisible and he couldn't communicate with anybody. So had an interesting role. But Sarah, I think, is probably ready to tell you the story.
Right, I am ready. So the story begins. We see the lead characters inside a room. It's a sound studio, so don't get me wrong.
You know, in a recording studio where you hear drums and guitars and stuff.
So the guy at the chime must have used a friend's, maybe a colleague's soundproof studio for this production. So they kind of made a good deal when you think about this sort of thing.
Didn't do too much damage to it.
Anyway, they're there to take part in a drug trial. Yeah.
But we believe it's a drug trial.
We watch this commercial on a TV screen where it's promoting.
That's right.
People promoting drug trials.
I did it. I'm happy and I'm wonderful and I'm fantastic.
Yeah,
and all these really happy and smiley people.
Trying to make out it's the best, likely thing to do. Like the promotional gimmick for an upcoming resort that you should all to go to. But then in this case, it's more like promoting drug trials. You must come, and we'll pay you a great deal of money.
And sign you up as timeshare or something or other. Yeah.
And then we cross over to it. Then cuts to an actual person talking on the screen. It turns out he's not a video. Whatever, it's the owner, I guess, or the head scientist,
or whatever,
who goes on about thanks for participating in this drug trial. We have this drugs inside these boxes, and you may feel side effects, you may not, and we'll be monitoring you.
But we're going to lock you in this room for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Once you take the pills, and you will not be allowed out, and we'll see how things develop.
Yes. Anyway, some of them have their. I'm not so cool about doing this, but they either have no choice in the matter. Like Lily wants to do it because she's a student and
she needs the money.
And
maybe?
Needs the money. Devin, no doubt, he's gone on his divorce and has been broke.
No money.
And has no money. Giggles
is out of jail
and has no he's in need of money.
And he's been on these chemical trials before. Yeah.
Jenny, no doubt, party girl. I mean, Jenna, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying that. Corey, I don't know too much about, except we find out much later about why he's taking part in the drug trials. And Phil, we remain in the dark completely. Nikki, is that right?
Nikki, the blonde girl.
She, I guess, may want money for gosh knows reason. And John is the
magician guy.
Well, we're not sure if he's a magician.
Well, he had a bit of magic in
it. We learned something. We learned more about him later on. Anyway,
but actually, can we say something about the pill with him?
Yeah, sure.
So at the beginning, everyone took the pill, and he was doing his magic, and he actually palmed the pill and didn't take it.
Yeah, before we get to that. So, anyway, the pill, I like to look at the pill for a minute. It's not like your ordinary pill. They look like there's some crystals inside. Inside the little cylinder thing. And they all feel like, what's in this? Is this going to be drugs? Is this going to be hard? Are we going to go on a serious trip? Stuff like that.
Yeah, Bali? Really nice.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, they said, come on, let's just swallow our pride and just swallow the pill and get over it.
Yeah, that was a money-hungry guy. He's obviously been through a divorce or something or other. Yeah.
So they all began to pop the pill, except for John, obviously.
He palmed it.
And drank down the water. And, of course, everyone went their separate way. Of course, Devon starts acting up for gosh knows reasons. He starts feeling like he feels something weird. Yeah,
well, we get the impression he's... we thought he was the first person affected.
Yeah.
Well, because we didn't know about Phil.
Yeah.
or somebody else in the room, which I won't mention.
Yes.
But he wasn't going very, very good.
Yeah. So anyway, Corey, I should mention, whom we don't know his real name in this production, he sneaks off into a corner and eats bananas and apples and stuff.
He noshes away
he's
and drinks the water.
What's the word? He's just
just a free soul, a bit like an old age hippie type guy. Yeah, just a little weird man, and like, hey man, chilling out, that sort of stuff.
Devon starts freaking out, like he's starting to feel the side effects of the pill.
He doesn't feel very good at all.
And suddenly, we don't know how, he, after a brief going over the horrible experience of the pill, giving him digestion problems.
Yeah, and gas, and not feeling very well, and tastes like sulfur and everything.
Yeah.
He went to pieces.
No, he actually exploded.
I just said that he went to pieces.
And everyone freaks out.
Now, actually, that's one thing that bugged me in that.
What?
He went boom.
Yes.
And he splattered all over everybody.
Yes.
And then the next scene, they're all clean.
Well, because the atmosphere kind of, whatever it was, the blood and the liquid on the floor absorbed it and disappeared.
Okay, I'll take it with her.
I see what you mean, Mike. It is a very
splat.
weird... 1 minute splat, next minute we see all the blood.
And everyone's clean.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Like there's a bathroom in this room.
They think now that they're in great danger of probably also getting splattered. We also find out that Jenna... they try to find another way out. They tried banging on the door, and suddenly something happened. Like you couldn't explain. Somehow the lights go out, and the next minute we're back. The lights come back on, and they try to find another exit, possibly a fire exit or something.
A door at the back, and he opened it, and there's a brick wall there. Ew. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we then find out Jenna, was that her power? She kind of developed teleporting power. Like she could jump from one room to the other.
Yeah, right across the room, right next room, different things. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And they begin to wonder, wait, this is, we're developing superpowers or something like that. We don't even know why it's taking this long for them to, each of them get the power. Maybe it's just a matter of something sparking
your
them.
metabolism or your DNA or something or other. Yeah.
Anyway, they think maybe she could jump to outside
the room
and
get help.
So she tries Oh, yeah, I should mention Nikki. She also tried to give her some water, and somehow the water looks green.
Changed colour.
It changed colour.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's the fact, maybe the room is affecting the water or something like that.
Maybe.
They don't understand yet. Anyway, Jen tries to teleport out, but unfortunately...
Her arm went and she didn't.
Yeah, she then... The blood squirts out, and then
she bled out really quickly.
And she collapses on the floor. And... Giggles, the Giggles. He tries to figure out if he could teleport and all that stuff, and he's not really bright. He's a total jerkwad.
Yeah, he's
he does
trivial knucklehead.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything. He's like a total
he yells at
jerkwad.
screens and intimidates people. And he's really funny.
Yeah, he's not really good and he's not nice.
I like him.
Yeah, you should have seen him playing the drums earlier. He sounds really awful.
He would have been really good in a punk band years ago.
Probably. I was surprised.
I was in a punk band.
Anyway, so...
A long time ago.
Yes. So now they try their absolute hardest to make her comfortable. Of course, Giggles doesn't feel like, so she's dead. Give me a break.
Yeah, no,
quit the Sylvester Stallone attitude. Thank you very much. Well, no offense to Sylvester, wherever you are.
Hey, Sly. Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, soon enough, I think it was we find out that Nikki's power. She's kind of changing color. I mean, her fingernails start changing from black to red.
We
don't know how that happened.
I couldn't quite figure out her power, but she was doing little things and she could change colours. But
yeah, but it has something to do with water, and her metabolism is starting to act up.
Starting to change, yeah.
Because
I wasn't quite sure what her power
she's starting to get a little bit sick or a little bit in pain from the pill or the effect of the pill. Anyway, the next person who gets her powers is Lily, who somehow is able to time jump.
Yeah, she can go across the room, outside the room, in time, go backwards in time, all that sort of stuff,
Yeah, so she actually always wanted to time travel.
She was really smart. She tried to explain to everybody the equations on the wall.
Writes it on the wall or on the glass, and tries to explain that if she does time jump back to when they did the drug trials, she thinks it'll cause a bit of a paradox.
Paradox, yeah. And time loops and different things can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
But anyway,
of course, while this is happening, Phil appears in the room, and we try to figure out what the hell.
Who's he?
Who's he? And he explains that he was always in the room, and he tried to yell out to them, saying, but they feel like they couldn't see him
or hear him or anything
else.
It
was like,
he took the pill right at the beginning, and it had an immediate effect, and they didn't remember him. Now, I don't think the case that his memory might have been wiped from them, maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, every time he kept reappearing or disappearing, we either forget him or none of the...
And he said something like, every time I reappear to you, you never remember me, so he must be going through some sort of time loop himself, maybe. I keep coming back, and he keeps saying, rah, rah, you never remember me, so maybe he's a bit of a time loop as well. Don't know.
Don't know either. So, anyway, finally, Lily worked out the equation of probably getting the final timeline together. As I said before, this is kind of the inspiration. This is kind of the gave me the idea of how most of these horror movies in the past have given me the idea of how they either some of them don't add up or they just go for a separate story and leave you wondering, what the hell? Why is the story not adding up? When actually it's just a different timeline with different story.
Exactly, yeah. Are you keep going now?
Yes, so anyway.
So Lily was doing her calculation, getting ready
she works out an equation and suggests that she'll arrive there, hopefully very soon, to when before it starts, hopefully. So she jumps and she reappears outside the room and she looks around the recording studio, but there's no one there.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it, we find out.
She eventually jumps from one spot to the other. eventually, we don't know what happens to her, but we find out later on
right
what becomes of her.
Yeah.
And
it was quite good, actually.
She doesn't reappear again to the group, and they're confused.
Because they can't find her.
Yeah, they think maybe she may be dead or gone, so we can't work it out.
She never comes back, so they can't find her in the room, come back to the room, and she doesn't find them, but there's a twist in that one.
Continues to think that they're superheroes, even though...
He's a super moron, but...
He even starts drawing up his own superhero identity, whatever, and it's the lousiest superhero.
Well, he couldn't draw for crap.
He could draw for crap. Anyway, but they eventually learn his superpower of sorts, where he's actually doesn't have need for oxygen, if that's the word.
Yeah, his superpower was he didn't need air, and if he could suck the air out of you as well, so he could choke you without actually choking you. A bit like Darth Vader, if he's hold his hand up and he go and choke you.
Yeah.
A bit like he didn't even have to do that.
Yeah, he remarked that he thinks this is his worst power because he doesn't like he hates.
Now someone said, "Hey, you can breathe underwater." So I hate going underwater. I can't even swim.
Hey, he won't need to swim, considering he could just walk underwater.
Walk underwater, yeah.
And he could just float there or something. Oh wait, you can. Yeah, you could probably float there.
Well, fat floats. Yeah.
Anyway, the power was getting to him, and he kept on making out he's a superhero. I think he's a super villain, more likely.
Well, he would have been a super villain, Lex Luthor or somebody.
Anyway, he soon enough blows up, I think. Yeah, he blew up.
No, he's attacking somebody.
Yeah,
and
attacking
and
Nikki
the girl blew him up.
And John and Corey, and soon enough he blows up. And then we work out that Corey has been training his mind with his powers. And we find out that he thinks his powers are godlike. He doesn't see himself as a superhero.
Yeah, he can create life and different things. He touched an apple seed that turned into a plant, different things, and little things like that.
He thinks himself
No, he had a really good positive power, but he wasn't really mentally sharp. Would you say that?
He said that the only reason he participated with the drug trials is to prove a point that these drug trials are bad and that natural health and ordinary living clean existence is more important.
That explains the apples and bananas. He's a bloody vegetarian or a vegan. Oh, Lord.
Anyway, he thinks John he actually removed the room into an unknown area.
That's what happened. He said, you can't get out because I've moved the room.
Yeah, see, he moved it twice because the first time we hear a growling,
and banging outside the door.
So it wasn't confirmed what that creature was. It could have been an unknown creature from an unknown planet.
So Corey has got really major powers. So the problem, we don't know where the room is now. It could be
underwater.
It could be here and now. It could be back in time, forward in time. We don't know what the limit of his power is. Yeah. And the thing is that, as Sarah said, the room could be underwater, which means there's no air getting in there.
Yeah. I know what you're thinking. How can that be possible when that would mean there'll be water seeping through the thing?
No,
but
he sealed it.
The fact that this might be like an air pocket, but it's also maybe he's been protecting the room using his powers. Yeah. Anyway, he sees John as a potential threat to his powers and thinks he's not important, and Corey thinks he's all powerful, godlike, whatever, and thinks that nothing will stand in the way of his powers.
Anyway,
unfortunately,
they have a bit of a fight, don't they?
And Nikki, using her water powers, she actually throws him through a special water-type wall, and he drowns.
Yeah, somehow or other. Yeah. And you see his image still floating in there, all dissolving in the water or something or other. Yeah.
Anyway, Nikki is not feeling the side effects of the drug, and her powers
aren't going too
not
good
so
for her
going well.
either.
She learns that this John is not really John, actually. He actually stole a man's identity to participate in this drug trial. Yeah. He actually owes a bit of money to some unknown people we don't know.
Criminal
maybe criminals,
loan sharks, that sort of stuff.
And they probably want him to steal the pill so to a competitive drug trial or drug company, I think, will be even more cool.
No,
interesting.
Dad didn't come out. He needed the money. So I know he needed the $800 or was going to steal the drug.
Yeah, he may steal a drug, give it to another company. Hopefully, they will give him a lot of money, and he might give them to those criminals.
It didn't quite come out.
It never comes up. So,
however,
Nicky dissolves into nothing, and he slowly weeps that he's alone and Nicky's gone, all the others are gone. I also think Corey was the one responsible for Devon and Jenna's demise, when I think about it.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah, and Phil's demise, I should mention.
Possibly.
He was actually going to attack him from behind, but he killed him. You know, he ends up, disappearing in a puddle of, what.
Whatever.
Too.
Yeah.
It explains why he killed those people off. So that won't interfere with his developments into godlike. Anyway, so John, or whatever his name is left alone, and still has a pill. He kept it inside a card box.
A card box or something, or a cigarette box or something, or whatever.
He plays a bit of card games with the group. Some of it, and
he did a bit of magic, so we call him Don the Magician, but he could have been a magician, amateur, who knows, yeah.
Who knows? People can learn magic. You often teach the kiddies magic, don't you, Paul?
I still got it confused on some of them.
Anyway, so he looks at the pill and thinks he wants to fix things. So hopefully this pill might help him fix something about the situation. So he takes the pill, swallows it, and then we see his eyes going a glowing gold. And then we flash to the credits. There, we find out that Lily is having the time of her life using her time-traveling ability. She travels to meet Einstein. She meets the dinosaurs.
Let's do an order. She starts doing selfies of herself in different time periods. The first one up, she's in the Jurassic period with a T-Rex behind her. You know, smiling, look, I'm here in Jurassic period. And then there's one of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Not quite built yet.
Not quite built.
Yeah, and then something else.
There's the, what's it called? The
Golden Gate Bridge.
Golden Gate Bridge.
You're halfway completed.
Built.
You're standing there.
And we see her with Albert Einstein.
That was one of the last ones. And there's some comment there right
Oh,
at the
yeah,
end
and
saying,
she meets Martin Luther King, I think it was.
She's doing a photo bomb behind him as well. And,
it's not a really good photo bomb.
And then there was a bit at the end. So I suppose I should go home soon or something or other.
Yeah.
So she's having a wonderful time. She is in control of her
it seems that
superpowers.
Yeah, at least one of them is able to control her powers and was able to make a life of doing this.
Didn't kill her anyway.
Didn't kill her.
But whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
But who knows how long she's been doing this for?
Well, we don't know. Yeah.
Anyway,
jumping around, having a good time. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the movie. I know it's short, but that's how it's an hour long.
Hour and 10 minutes or something.
And most of the time, they're confined in one room. There's no other rooms in this vicinity.
Anyway,
and it's pretty much an hour and 1 hour long movie. An hour and a few seconds into it.
You talk, I'll go and look. Hang on.
Anyway, the story is pretty interesting, and I thought that it's kind of cool that it deals with, just the whole unexplainable, how this drug affects them sort of thing. And all the time, you wonder what's going to happen next in the production. And all the times you wonder, okay, what's the next power what's John's gonna be, his power gonna be? I keep thinking maybe he might revive Nicky and Devon and Jenna. I hope so. It would be nice to see that his power we put to some kind of good. I mean, I would not bring back Corey. He seems to have a god complex, and Giggles had a god complex. Would you say, Mike?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's a very, Corey, he's like Mike and I were talking about earlier about the other movie we reviewed, The Exam, and how this guy, Corey, was like the guy from in that movie. We don't see him very much. We just know he's in the room, and we don't know
it's about an hour and 20 minutes, actually. It wasn't short, no. Well, you paid that for commercials, 2 hours. What? Well, like, someone's got to pay for it.
And of course, as I said before, in the credits, the girl in the end who played Lily is singing a song about time traveling and stuff.
And that's really
it's
good. It's a cute little song. It's really funny.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
And
she's got a cute little voice and everything. She's sweet.
Yeah. Also, Giggles does his own song, which
right after her. You're like your punk rocker sort of.
The worst type
would make
song.
Johnny Rotten roll over in his grave,
Or dead meat. I mean, not dead meat. Meatloaf roll over in his grave.
No, I'm talking about punk rockers.
I know.
Meatloaf was not a punk rocker.
Okay, he was not a punk rocker, but if he was, if he was listening to this guy, he would definitely keel over and die.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Right. Finished?
Yep.
I was talking about punk rockets.
I know.
That'd cringe. There you go. And remember that thing, the Commitments?
Yes, I do.
Remember how that their bouncer guy took over drumming, and he got in there and he started his own band at the end, and he was the punk band. He was screaming his tits off through a microphone and everything else. Similar sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Funny, yeah. Anyway, so not much to say about it. I couldn't. I couldn't find anything on Wikipedia or anything. Found a little bit on IMDb. So I would presume it's gone straight to DVD back in those days. It may have streamed. Don't know. It's a hard one. It's out there if you want to see it, because obviously we've got a copy of it. Now you can get it. I'll do that grading in a minute, but you can get it through eBay. There's plenty for sale. Some are second hand. I couldn't find any listings through Amazon.
Yeah, and I couldn't find any trivia for you folks.
But I'm talking about availability.
I know.
Can you wait for a minute, please?
I know, Mike.
So if you go in your streaming services other places, you'll possibly be able to find a copy. If you are unable to find a copy, because it's been about 8 years ago and it may not be around, I would then suggest you look. I checked for YouTube. I couldn't find it. Those of you who are not afraid of doing something a little bit naughty, yes, you can do a torrent download. We have a real copy. It is available as a torrent as a last resort. Okay, and there's only about I've had a look. There's about one listing for it, isn't there? So that might disappear too. So
yeah, that's the thing about this movie, guys. I mean,
it may disappear.
When I was looking it up, there wasn't very much information because there are other movies that do call the subjects or subject, and it's makes it difficult to spot this movie.
It is very hard. There might be a trailer on YouTube.
There's probably a trailer
if you want to test it out. But yeah, those of you who aren't too afraid of doing a torrent, like I said, last resort. If you can't find anywhere, this is going to be a hard one to get. So
it's the difficult thing about independent films. It makes it difficult to find the original to watch.
And that is a shame because there should be some place you can actually get these guys. It may be on a streaming site. Don't know. Robert Mond or somebody should put a thing out there. Hey, it's available. Here's the link. Go there. You find it on Shudder or somewhere. Or
a movie like this should be given its at least a proper presentation, and I think it should be given as many outlets to
because I reckon the independent guys are the future of the industry, and I mean if no one can see this stuff,
they're the next John Carpenter or Wes Craven. And if it's a matter of getting themselves noticed by the opposition and get them to be acknowledged to the world.
So it's a shame. Anyway, I'm going to give this a grading now.
Me too.
I can't find anything majorly wrong. This was done on a budget, and it's not an obvious low budget. That's what they've used their money well. They had one room thing. They did in a music studio sort of environment. They had very little. They probably spent most of the money in post. Doing a bit of special effects and whatever.
The only thing they probably would put the money towards, especially except for the special effects, which is they probably would have used the guy.
Special effects. That could have been in post.
Yeah. Of course. The other stuff, like the bits with the timer, there's a bit of a, one of those countdown clocks things, which is not too expensive. You could probably get one anywhere.
Yeah, get a lot.
And
get on eBay
the special metal door, which probably was not made of metal.
It was probably an ordinary door, some metal over top of it, say bang, bang, bang. It looks really good. And but no, I think the most money would have gone in. Okay, some of these people would have been paid. I would say, and there would have been some work done in post and maybe post for the audio as well. But apart from that, I can't see it as a really, 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 really low budget independent film. I think it's money well spent.
Money well spent, especially what's my money.
They got a good result. So I'm for the sake of that being a low budget independent, I'm going to give it 9. About 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 9 too, guys. And usually I would be encouraging and say I would give this a 10 out of 10, whatever. But this is a definite 9 for me.
Yeah, because I know that guy who kept disappearing and reappearing. He was he needed?
No.
And if he was, they could have actually developed his part a bit more. A few things like that, but and the girl, the colour changing sort of thing.
That I could never work it out.
I don't know what her power was.
And I guess I'll never know because
considering
most of these powers, there was no apart from the no breathing one and the girl who time travels and the girl who jumps from place to place. Aside from those ones, I can't think of any other explanation for Nikki's power.
So,
I mean, unless it's because the pill might have been turning her organs into water.
Maybe.
Or
affiliating it somehow with water.
Like,
So, her powers are water related.
It makes me think of Lucy, the character in that movie, when she was a drug mule and then somehow the drug gets into her system and soon enough...
Kills her.
It doesn't kill her. She... it kind of makes her... develop her brain and her organs, making her
that movie,
making her less human, and soon enough she sort of joins the universe in a creepy way. Maybe that's where Nikki's gone to. I don't know.
She sort of dissolved.
She dissolved into nothing.
So let's see. I don't know what. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
And I don't even know if the same's going to happen to John. If his
his eyes went yellow. Or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
goldy
yellow.
And then we did a fade to black then. So, okay, what's his power going to be?
What do you think his power was? I explained my idea of what he would do, but what would you say his power would be?
We had time jumpers and time space jumper, and we had a guy who could breathe underwater. I got no idea because they're all just So I don't know.
I just hope that his power was something.
Something might save him, get him out of the room,
or at least save Nikki or some of the members who may have been killed. Uncalled for.
They're all dead.
True,
so he's hanging on it. But if the room has been moved to parts unknown,
yes. But he wants, his last wish was that he would, the pill's powers will give him allow him to fix things. I guess he wants to fix maybe he didn't want Nikki to go. I mean, he liked her. It's pretty clear that he liked her.
Getting a special bond with her. Yeah.
And I guess he didn't like the situation. I mean, it would be nice if he had the same powers as Corey and get them back to this wherever they came from. But we don't know where Corey sent them. That's the big mystery.
They could be underground by 10 miles or something rather. They could be on the moon. We've got no idea where the room is.
Yes. So
it
may prove difficult trying to take something from one place that we don't know about back to its original roots.
Yeah. It's sort of like, I suppose in the movies about magic spells and everything, a witch will cast a spell, but the spell can't be undone necessarily by another witch because they've actually got to break the other person's control over the spell, not do another spell over it. You see? So if Corey Corey's dead, so that may not be able to undo his involvement.
Yeah, and considering he was the only one who knows exactly where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to figure out. I mean, he didn't say where they were in the script.
And if he died and that building, that room went back to the building it started in, the people would come in there and say what's happening. So they're not back in the building. They're somewhere.
It would be nice if somehow he developed do what Lily did, be able to
get out of there.
Or or Jenna's ability of teleporting out of there. I would like to think that some, but then again, I don't know. I mean, I think it usually depends on the individual, and it's just like the movie Swamp Thing, where he explains the chemical he took kind of adds to what he already was. Yeah. This is sort of like that in this movie.
And that it could work on your DNA and your genetics and other things.
And Nikki I don't know much about Nikki, but who knows what's going on in her body. Maybe previous other chemicals in her body were rejecting the pill, and the pill was kind of fighting with whatever was in her body to try to gain control. Unfortunately, she was probably not really I mean, who knows? Maybe she was not really healthy. Maybe what the pills was offering kind of was not really kind of helping her body.
Was working against the body, maybe.
Yeah,
don't know.
It's hard to know because when it comes to with medicine or pills or medication, sometimes the pills or viruses or diseases could fight against your body and your immune system, and maybe her immune system was weak.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
lymphatic system attacked it. Well, who knows?
Who knows what this pill was meant to do? I mean, what these scientists were meant to do with this pill. They never explained it. What it's
well, it could be genetic, just a straight genetic enhancing chemical or something rather, and you just set it based on the DNA, genetics, and anything else going on with your body.
Yeah. It's just like when we did the drug trials for when they did COVID. They were trying to get people to find a way to cure the whole thing. And
that's too topical for this.
Yeah, sorry guys. I mean, it is a topic that we should not nail into the coffin.
No, I'll nail you in a coffin a minute.
Anyway, so I did wonder his power, and I keep thinking maybe he might resurrect the dead. I like to think so.
Well, if he could, or he could bring them all back to life, but they're still stuck in a bloody room.
True.
So,
but if he did, they would still be able to use Jenna's powers to teleport them out of there.
She can maybe teleport herself out of there.
Yes, but she can also teleport them. You could just hold on to someone's hand and join a chain.
So that's a possibility,
Do it that way.
Yeah, and end up in a wall somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't know what's outside, remember?
And we don't know Devon's power, do we? We didn't even get to that part to it. Maybe.
He's the one whose body rejected it probably, and he just blew up. So don't know. Don't know.
Well, I don't know if it was rejected because I think it was Corey that killed him because he was acting really annoying, that guy. And,
well, like I said, I don't know because he just I'm not feeling very well and started from moment one he started getting gassy and bad feeling in his stomach.
I think the gassing thing may have been Corey who was trying to use his powers to kill him. And
maybe?
Yeah, because that's my theory because I think none of them liked him very much and I think Corey didn't like him very much. Yeah. And
yes, he was a CEO type, No one likes a CEO. Nah.
Anyway, I think that the same could be said for Jenna and the Giggles guy. They all exploded or except
dissolved
or broke. And I think that was that would have been Corey's powers trying to stop them from leaving the room.
Yeah, he did make a comment towards the end of it. They're saying, hey, I couldn't allow these people to get outside.
See? This is what I was talking about.
No, he could have. He didn't say he did. The world would not be safe from these people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he may have been doing something. He didn't actually say he did. It was maybe a little bit implied. Don't know.
I think he was.
He could have, but yeah.
Because it makes a little more sense why he didn't want... I understand Giggles. He was not...
No, he was a crim. He'd just been super crim if he got outside. Yeah.
He would probably easily... Considering he's a criminal, we don't know his background, but I know it could have been murder or it could have been robbery.
Assault, murder, whatever, whatever.
Because he pretty much was a not nice man. He was offensive to ladies and all that stuff. And he was even said when we were talking about powers, he was hoping that he would develop, telekinesis and try to levitate a girl and onto his
on his
part.
penis.
It's not a good topic to talk
sicko,
about.
This guy. Yeah,
He was not a nice guy to talk about, and I didn't like his attitude.
Me neither.
And I can see why so many people didn't like him too.
Yeah, he died. Yay! Yeah, so that sort of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to kill it?
Might as well. I'm
can't
considering there's not much to talk about.
This one. Again.
I wish we could find references that we.
Stuff,
the
reviews,
reviews or the box office and or any other comments about this film.
Getting back to what I said before, I couldn't find it on Amazon. I did find some new and used on eBay. You might find it on some streaming services if you're lucky. Try all the legal ways first. But I couldn't find it on YouTube. You might find a trailer there, but I didn't see the main feature. So at a pinch, if you can't get it, then if
what part of Australia was it? You said it was filmed in Australia.
I don't know anywhere. I don't know anything else.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find any information. It was done in a room.
Okay.
That drum set looks familiar. It doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah. As I said
but
before,
like I said, if worse comes to worse, yes, get a torrent of it, but try to find legal ways to get it first. Mm-hmm. But the torrent might disappear soon too, so make a decision soon, okay?
Yes.
But do all the legal investigations first.
Yes. So, guys, that's it for us tonight. I'm sorry we couldn't do anything more with this movie. So, let your own minds make it up when you actually watch it.
Like, it's not a bad film. It's like we did see the one in The Exam.
Yes, we have.
That wasn't too bad. It's a similar sort of thing. People locked in a room. Their dynamics between the individuals. The same sort of thing as this, but this is where The Exam was more like a mental thriller. This is more like a sci-fi thriller. Yeah, slightly different thing. But yeah, it's really good. It's well done. Limited budget sort of thing. Happy with it. Not just because it's done in Australia. I thought it was American with an Australian in it, but no. Well, so yeah, it's quite good. Yeah.
So that's about it for us tonight, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think of this movie. And so this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Marvel.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls.
Bye
for now.
guys.